Welcome to Bariatric Business Accelerator, the short and impactful podcast for weight loss practitioners, lifestyle medicine practitioners, and anyone in that weight loss field. I'm your host, Karol Clark, and today is another Real Talk episode. And I want to pull back the curtain on something I don't usually talk about publicly, and that is what I actually look for when I evaluate a practice or a program, and in particular, the 4 red flags that I evaluate a weight loss practice or program for, so that we can identify them quickly and make progress towards their goals. So when a practitioner brings me in, I'm looking for one thing specifically, and that is the gap between what they may believe is happening and what's actually happening. And oftentimes they know this deep down, and they know that this is holding them back from accomplishing their goals, because this gap is almost always where the growth is hiding, and sometimes it's also where there's risk, which holds people back. So here are the red flags I watch for, and most of these are very fixable, but you have to be able to identify them first. Red flag number 1 is your digital front door and the front desk test. The first thing I do, and this sometimes surprises people, is pay attention to everything about how a patient experiences your practice before they ever set foot in your door or have a virtual visit. That means your digital presence, your online reputation, and yes, your front desk or whoever's doing some scheduling for you. Because the patient journey doesn't start there anymore, it starts with Google and AI searches. So let me ask you something. When did you last Google your own practice or your own name as if you were a new patient, not to audit yourself necessarily, but just to actually experience what they are experiencing, what comes up? Is your website current? Does it still have outdated program information? Does it have broken links? And also, does it not even mention the key services that you want to promote, the types of patients that you want to attract? Is your Google business profile claiming hours that you don't actually keep? Does it have current and engaging photos and information? Are your social media pages sitting dormant with a last post from 18 months ago or something like that? Here's something that's changing fast, and most practices are not paying attention to it yet, and that is the AI search. When someone asks ChatGPT or Perplexity or wherever they're searching online, who's the best weight loss doctor or the best lifestyle medicine practitioner in my area, who shows up? Either you show up or you don't, and that's increasingly driven by your reviews, your website content, and consistently showing up on the web. So if you are ignoring this, you're invisible to a growing slice of your potential patients. Now, after you've done that digital audit, pick up the phone and call your own practice or request an appointment online unannounced as if you were a new patient. Are there long hold times? Is there a rushed tone? Is there inconsistent information? These things happen more than practitioners realize. And that first call or that first inquiry is often when a patient decides whether they're going to trust you. And if it goes poorly, they quietly go somewhere else, and you never even know that you lost them. The digital front door and the front desk are 2 parts of the same first impression. Both are entirely within your control to fix it, but you have to know there's a problem first. Okay, so red flag number 2, great marketing, leaky pathway. The second red flag is what I call great marketing with a leaky pathway. The practice is running ads, generating inquiries, showing up in searches, and conversions are low. Hopefully you're tracking your conversions. The physician assumes that the marketing isn't working. It's something wrong with the marketing, but usually the marketing is typically working, depending, but the problem is often what happens after somebody expresses interest. Slow follow-up, an unclear next step, any confusion, they won't take action. And so a team that hasn't been trained to have value-based conversations about the program, respond very quickly in the right way, can cause issues. Marketing gets people to your door, but your patient pathway determines whether they're going to walk through it or accept your services and become one of your patients. If it's strong, they will. If it's not, they won't. So spending money on marketing and wondering why it's not paying off, if that's what you're doing, there's a misalignment somewhere and something that needs to be addressed immediately. Red flag number 3. The third red flag is practices that track volume metrics and feel fine until they don't. How many patients this week? How many surgeries this month? These numbers look okay. So everything seems okay, but no one's tracking revenue per patient. No one's watching whether a top referral source has quietly started to dry up. No one's looking at the cost to acquire a new patient versus the lifetime value of that patient. Volume tells you how busy you are. Financial and operational metrics tell you the real story because numbers don't lie. When practices only watch volume, there can be a long gap between when a problem starts and when it becomes visible to them. By then, you're already behind. So, if you don't have a small set of core metrics that you're reviewing every single month, not just clinical, but financial and operational, that's worth addressing right now. Okay, on to the fourth red flag. This one's a little uncomfortable, but I think it needs to be said. And it's when a physician tells me things seem to be running pretty smoothly without really being able to explain why they believe that. So, on the surface, everything seems fine, is not the same as I have real visibility into what's happening. It usually just means that there's no obvious crisis going on, or oftentimes I get called in after a crisis is occurring. But underneath that calm, there can be staff who are quietly disengaged, processes that are inconsistent, patient experiences that are mediocre rather than excellent. Visibility means actively checking in, and it means creating a culture where your team feels safe telling you when something isn't working, because oftentimes they may be afraid to mention that to you. And they need to tell you this before it becomes a problem that you can't ignore. That's the big key over the long haul. So, these four red flags are your digital front door and your front desk experience, the leaky patient pathway, tracking the wrong numbers, and low visibility disguised as smooth operations. These are all incredibly common and they're all fixable. So, if any of these resonate with you, look at some of my free resources, weightlosspracticebuilder.com/free, or I'd love to connect. You can book a free strategy session at weightlosspracticebuilder.com and we can take a look at it together and just have a chat about it. No pressure. If you are interested, I also have some mini courses, but reach out to me if I can be of assistance, and also just take advantage of all the free things I have out there, from my blogs to my podcast to all my free resources. I love doing this work with practitioners, bariatric surgeons, obesity medicine specialists, lifestyle medicine practitioners, and I'd love to get to know you better. So reach out to me. You can schedule time on my calendar through my website, weightlosspracticebuilder.com. And in the meantime, take care, and don't forget to look at the my episode last week, which was the first one on this Real Talk series, and then I have another one coming up next week. In the meantime, take care.